So if you're at the stage where you're just getting your arpeggios together, say if you took a 2-5-1 in C and you're doing stuff like this, just sounding the arpeggios, that's an important foundational stage to be able to do. And when I was at that stage on guitar, I kept hearing that advice. You've got to be able to outline the chord changes as they pass by, whether that's over a backing track or over the changes to a standard. But one thing that can be hard to do, and I definitely got stuck for a long time, is, well, what do I do next with that? How can I make it more interesting? What things can I bring in? And I want to show you something really simple today, and that is bringing in scale notes above those arpeggio tones to make things sound a little bit more interesting, bring in some other sounds so that it's not just the predictable arpeggio tones. Now, those three chords, D, G, C, they're all from the same key, D minor 7, G7, C major 7, from the key of C major. And the scale then we could use over all of that, just to be very general and simple, is C major. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now take the arpeggio of a C major 7, 1, 3, 5, 7, C, E, G, B. And what we're going to do is, before each arpeggio tone, we're going to play the scale note above. So if you've got a C, the scale note above from this key would be D. So we're going to go D, C. And you've got that nice da, da, 4 down from what is the second to the root. Da, da. Do the same to the third, which is an E. We're going to go F, E, 4th to the third. Then to the 5th, which is a G, we're going to go 6, 5. So that sounds like this so far. Hear the chord, and it's going to be... And then we could do the same to the 7th, which would be, a B, and go C, B. But I don't think it sounds as good. So on each one, we're going to do the octave of the root. So C, I'm going to go repeat the first one again. So D, C, so it's going to be... Imagine that over the sound of the chord. So it's D, C, above, so that's going, approach the root from above, approach the third from above, F, E, approach the 5th from above, A, G, and approach the octave of the root, D, C. Imagine that over the sound of a progression. That sounds really nice. And I'm just playing it with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rhythm. And I think this kind of thing is good to have in your toolkit, because when you improvise and you're in the moment of playing, these kind of things do creep in and they make chord tones sound more interesting, because compared to, say, maybe if I played that in like that, which is just very technical. If we move to the other chords, did the same principle. D minor 7, D, F, A. Again, we'll ignore the 7th. We go D, F, A, D. And we're going to go E, D, approach the root from above, G, F, approach the third from above, approach the 5th from above, B, A, and then let's approach the octave of the root from above, so E, D. Do the same to G7, which maybe we could do, we'll do it there actually, and we go A, G, C, B, E, D, and then A, G, and then we could put all of that in order in the 2-5-1, and it would sound like this. So sorry. And what we've got there, as I said, is another way to, I suppose, dress up our arpeggios. And for me, the really important skills to develop, really, if you hear a minor 7 chord, like D minor 7, you can hear the arpeggio without having to play it. And doing things like today, enables you to hear more, and that when you're playing over chord progressions, you'll be able to not just play the predictable notes of the arpeggios. And I think we've got to know the tweaks we have to make with our practice and with arpeggios and with scales over time. We have to just gradually tweak different things and learn to do something new with it so that we can be more creative with it when we're trying to solo. And if you're thinking about really what this is, it's just, right, we've got the arpeggio here and we're bringing something else in here. We're bringing in some notes from the scale. We brought in notes from the scale above. You could Also explore the idea of scale notes below, and obviously the other thing you could add is chromaticism as well for more interest. But quite often that's, you know, the way that arpeggios are used. Obviously rhythm's a big factor too, but it's the arpeggio notes, and maybe not all of them. Notice that I took out the 7th today because I just didn't like the sound of it with this particular idea. And you know, just doing something different with it, learning to hear something different with it. With this you get the 4 down into the arpeggio tone. Makes it stand out maybe in a more interesting way. It puts the notes in less predictable places within the bar also. And it's, as I said, it's all about tweaking whatever it is you're practicing, gradually knowing how to do something slightly different with it, and exploring different ways of practicing them and applying them over chord progressions. But the PDF from today, all the tab notation you saw on the screen is available, link in the description below, as well as a link to my Patreon page, which just brings me to say a big thank you to all of the people that support me on Patreon, or anyone that leaves donations after these videos. All your support is greatly appreciated, and it enables me to keep producing videos. If you've got any questions from today's lesson, leave them below. But until next time, you take care.